Hey, what's going on, YouTube world? It's your boy Big Sky here, back with another video. Here to talk about the 2021 NBA playoffs. We are finally here. We finally arrived. Got a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about, but before we get to the predictions and everything, I want y'all to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and share the video. Make sure y'all hit a thumbs up, and we gonna get right to it. Not gonna hold you too long. So, the NBA playoffs is upon us. We are in for a treat. There's been a lot of intrigue with this year. A lot of things that has transpired during this NBA season. Of course, it's a shortened season with 72 games as opposed to the regular 82 games that it usually is. But when we're gonna talk about everything that's gonna transpire, that has transpired in the league leading up to this moment. But before we get to all of that, I just want to say, so the way that I'm going to be doing this is my predictions are going to be round based per video. So I'm only going to do the first round, and then of course the semifinals and the conference finals, and then the NBA finals. So that's how I'm going to do the video breakdown. So I'm not going to give my predictions on who I think is going to make it to the NBA finals yet, even though y'all may look at my hat and think, oh, I'm picking Brooklyn automatically. You just have to wait and see. All right, but let's get right to it. We finally arrived. 2021 NBA playoffs is upon us. Man, it's been a wild ride this season, dealing with all of the COVID stuff. Of course, fans have maybe the past 3 or 4 weeks, I don't know, it varies by state, have been able to attend the games now, which actually adds to the experience of the games. It's like that with all sports. You have to have fans in attendance to make these games more meaningful, the emotions of the games. I'm so glad we're honestly not dealing with the bubble that we dealt with last year. It's actually kind of refreshing to see that the teams are able to go back and forth attending games, and the interaction with the players and the fans is something that I know that the players missed a lot. So that's going to play a huge role, especially with home court advantage for a lot of these teams. So let's get to the standings. Now, they just finished the play-ins for both conferences, and the teams that ended up getting there, we'll start with the Eastern Conference, was the Washington Wizards and the Boston Celtics. They ended up advancing out of the play-in tournament. And then in the Western Conference, it was the Memphis Grizzlies and, of course, the Los Angeles Lakers. And I'll get to the Lakers in a minute. Now, before we get to that, I just want to say I am very shocked that the Golden State Warriors were eliminated. It was a very good game between them and the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis beat the Golden State Warriors 117-112. Steph had 39. Steph has been absolutely sensational throughout this entire season, despite not having his sidekick Klay Thompson with him for the second year in a row. And despite, let's keep it a buck, Draymond just being such an offensive liability. Defensively, he's great. He's once again nominated for Defensive Player of the Year with Rudy Gobert and Ben Simmons, but he is such a liability on offense. So it was pretty much Steph with a little sprinkle of Andrew Wiggins every once in a while when he felt like showing up. So Steph literally carried that team. And I know everybody is saying Steph should be the MVP. I mean, Jokic has been absolutely sensational, and I don't see how you don't give it to Jokic, considering the fact that the Denver Nuggets are the number 3 seed in the Western Conference. Keep that in mind, in the Western Conference. But he's been absolutely sensational. I mean, especially with the injury bug hitting that team, with Murray going down, Jokic has just carried that team. And so he's pretty much my MVP pick. I mean, no disrespect to Steph. Steph has been absolutely sensational. And yes, if you remove Steph off that team, you have my team, the Detroit Pistons. That's pretty much what you got with Steph Curry, okay? but I don't think he deserves it. I think Jokic has just been absolutely sensational. That's just my POV about that. So let's get to the standings here. I have my trusted computer pulled up, and we're just going to talk about this first round. So again, we'll start with the Eastern Conference first. The number 1 seed is your Philadelphia 76ers going against the Washington Wizards. This is going to be a fantastic series. If you know the history of Joel Embiid and Russell Westbrook, them two do not like each other. And it's just funny to me that this is the first round matchup. It's going to be intense. It's going to be very testy. Players are going to be in each other's faces. And look, the Washington Wizards has had, I believe they had the best record going into the playoffs and the play-in. They have been outstanding for the past 25, 30 games. They had, I think it was in February, they said January, February, they had 0.60 chance of even making the playoffs, and they made the playoffs as an 8 seed. So, again, this is going to be a very good series. I do have Philly winning the series. I'm going to say, I don't think it's going to go past 6 games. If it goes up to 6 games, I'll be shocked. Philly has been the most consistent team in the league, best record. I believe they had the best record, the second, third best record in the NBA. So I don't think that their momentum is going to slow down. Doc Rivers has been coaching that team with a sense of urgency, something that they haven't had that sense of urgency. It seems like it forever. And Joel Embiid has been an MVP caliber player all season long. And as great as Russell Westbrook has been, Bradley Beal, of course, is great. And I just don't see Washington getting more than 2 games. If it goes to Game 6, I'll be shocked. So that's my prediction for that series. The winner of that is going to face the winner of this series, which is the New York Knicks versus the Atlanta Hawks. I am very happy for the Atlanta Hawks. Before this season started, they had a really, really good offseason with a lot of the pieces that they picked up. Trae Young, of course, one of the leading point guards in the Eastern Conference. I'm not going to say in the league because we know Steph and Dame and Kyrie runs that, but Trae Young has been very outstanding this year. So, but the New York Knicks have not been playing this year. Julius Randle, who I think is going to win Comeback Player of the Year, Most Improved Player, and he's definitely in that MVP discussion. But I think the New York Knicks are going to win. This could potentially be a Game 7 series, but I'm going to say the New York Knicks win this series 4-2. I think the Knicks have been strong throughout this year. Reggie Bullock and R.J. Barrett have been, a helping hand to Julius Randle. And I just think that and Derrick Rose's arrival, his veteran presence, he still can ball. Like, Derrick Rose is still a beast. So I think that is going to be a good series, a good, intriguing matchup. But I do have the New York Knicks pulling out 4-2. Then you have the Milwaukee Bucks and the defending Eastern Conference champions, the Miami Heat. Last year, the past couple years, the Bucks have been the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and both times they have been so disappointing. Getting their tail kicked last year. Miami beat them, and then the year before it was the Toronto Raptors. It's like these expectations for Giannis, who was the 2-time reigning MVP, they should be dominating. I mean, they just got Drew Holiday during his offseason, which was a very, very smart pickup by the Milwaukee Bucks. They're a great team, but it's almost like they'll get you there and then they'll fumble at the very end. Do I think they're going to win this series? Yes, I do. I think this is going to be go another predictably 6-game series. But they got to show up, man. They got to show up. There's no reason for the Milwaukee Bucks to get you there again, just for them to lose again. And Giannis really has to step it up in the playoffs. He was abysmal last year down the stretch in the postseason. He gonna really have to step it up this time. So yes, I do have the Milwaukee Bucks at least going 6 games against the Miami Heat. Then you have the Brooklyn Nets against the Boston Celtics. This is gonna be a sweep, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be a sweep. Now that James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving are all healthy, Joe Harris, of course, coming off the bench. In a 7-game series, though, I don't know who's beating this team right now. Again, I'll keep my predictions as my predictions for the rounds coming, but I do think that this is going to be a sweep. Boston doesn't stand a chance. Sorry. They have been wildly inconsistent all year. Kemba Walker, I don't even know who he is right now. And then with Jaylen Brown being out for the rest of the season, it's pretty much going to be up to Jason Tatum to carry that team. And don't get me wrong, Jason Tatum is one of my favorite players in the league. He is a superstar, and he's been balling out of his mind for the past maybe month. That's not going to be enough. Not for Brooklyn. No. So this is my sweep. This is my sweep. I have the Brooklyn Nets beating the Boston Celtics 4-0. So that's my first round for the Eastern Conference. Now let's jump over to the West. You have the Utah Jazz going against the Memphis Grizzlies. Utah, I believe, has the best record in all of basketball. If I'm not mistaken, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. The Utah Jazz have been very, very good, despite the fact that Donovan Mitchell has been pretty much out. Spider's been out for a while, and it is, that's unfortunate. But they've been very consistent. Rudy Gobert, of course, is a defensive juggernaut. He's probably gonna win it again this year for Defensive Player of the Year. And they have shooters all over the place. One of the better 3-point shooting teams in the entire league. They're going against a hot Memphis Grizzlies team, John Morant and Dylan Brooks. They've been balling, but not going to be enough. This is not going past 5 games. So I think Utah's going to win this series 4-1. The Los Angeles Clippers against the Dallas Mavericks. Here we go again. Trap series. This time it's not going to be a trap. It's not going to be a trap. The Dallas Mavericks played the Clippers last year, and it was a 2-2 series until the Clippers realized, oh shoot, we actually got to win this series. That's probably going to happen again. I mean, Luka Doncic he's amazing, but with the Clippers having more firepower than they actually had last year, combined with the fact that I think Ty Lue is going to be the X factor, the coach for the Clippers, I think that the Clippers are going to win this series. I don't think this is not going past 5 games. I think this is going to go 4-1. We'll see, though. We'll see, because Porzingis is actually healthy this time. See, Porzingis wasn't healthy last year against the Clippers, but I just don't see it. I don't see it for the Dallas Mavericks this year. I just don't see it. So I think it's going to go 4-1. The Denver Nuggets against the Portland Trail Blazers. This is going to actually be my favorite matchup of the entire first round this year. For those who know me knows that my favorite player in the NBA right now, outside of Devin Booker, which I'll get to, is Dame Dollar, Damian Lillard. The boy is cold. Okay, we've seen him get rid of teams in these playoffs. Well, not in these playoffs, not this year, but in the playoffs period, throughout his career. He's great. He can, he shoots a high percentage for a guard. I believe he's 48% from the field, probably 40% from 3. Shoots like 88, 89, 90% from the free throw line. I mean, he's a total package. Dame's hard to stop. Jokic, it's gonna be a tough matchup for Portland. I think Portland has a lot of great pieces with Enes Kanter and of course Melo being that veteran leader off the bench, and of course CJ McCollum. That backcourt is actually really good, but I'm not picking Portland. I think this may, but I will say I think if any series has potential to go 7 games, in this series, So I'm actually going to say that the Nuggets are going to beat the Portland Trail Blazers in 7. I think this actually is going to go 7 games. But we'll see. But this is probably the best matchup in the entire playoffs right now. Is the Denver Nuggets against the Portland Trail Blazers. And don't be surprised if Portland wins. Don't be surprised. I mean, they've done it before. I mean, it's put up a shut up for the Denver Nuggets. I mean, I like Denver, but I also like Portland. But I think Denver's going to pull it out at the end. And then we have the Phoenix Suns versus the Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers are the lowest defending champion seed in NBA history. They are the 7th seed. They took that spot from the 1995 Houston Rockets, who was the 6th seed going into the playoffs in 95. This is an intriguing matchup. Any Lakers matchup is going to be a very intriguing matchup. Chris Paul versus LeBron James, best friends off the court. I'm reluctant to pick the Phoenix. I'm not picking Phoenix. I'm not doing it. I'm going to pick the Lakers, but I'm going to pick the Lakers in 6. And here's why. LeBron James has never lost in the first round of the playoffs in his career. I don't think it's happening this time either. Number 1. Number 2, the Lakers have a lot to prove. They are the defending NBA champions. LeBron James is in his 18th NBA season. And granted, he's not healthy. You can tell. The playing game with the Warriors, you can tell LeBron James wasn't healthy. Despite him having a triple-double, he just didn't look himself, especially in the first half. I think in the first half, he only had like 6 points. He was very disappointing. However, I think that they are a matchup nightmare for the Phoenix Suns because they're long. I think you're going to see Andre Drummond get more playtime than he did in the last game against the Warriors. He's actually going to be him and Kyle Kuzma are my X factors. Yes, I think the Phoenix Suns have a great team. Chris Paul has really changed the culture of that team. Monty Williams has been an amazing coach for that team. Devin Booker, like I said, if he's not my favorite player outside of Damian Lillard, he's my second favorite player. He's sensational, and they have pieces there. They have Frank Kaminsky. They have other guys that are there that can provide some spark for that team. However, I think with the Lakers having this target on their back going into the playoffs, I think it's going to be too much. Yes, Chris Paul has veteran leadership, but we also got to remember Chris Paul has never made it. He only made it to the Western Conference Finals one time, and that was with the Houston Rockets a few years ago. So I just don't see it. I just don't see it for Phoenix this year. They've been great, but I don't see it. I think I got the Lakers. I am picking the Lakers to go to the next round. They're going to beat the Phoenix Suns 4-2. And so that's my prediction for the first round of the NBA playoffs. Remember, it's going to be a video for each round of the playoffs before the round start. Again, I'm not picking no one. I'm not picking my finals prediction until we get to the NBA finals. So it's going to be a long ride, y'all. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot to talk about. I may make some videos in between the first round. We'll see. But I am very excited. I love NBA playoff basketball. It's one of my favorite times of the year. And we just going to see how this rides. We're going to see how this goes. All right. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure y'all hit the thumbs up, please. And make sure y'all share this across all your social media platforms. Again, it's your boy, Big Sky. Y'all can find me on Twitter at Big Sky, the poet. Y'all can also find me on Instagram at BigSky83. And also, I'm plugging in my podcast, the Y'all Have No Idea podcast. We will do a video we'll do a podcast, a recording pretty soon. And until next time, I am out.